Morning, guys. How you all doing? Happy Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend. Hope you're all keeping safe, keeping well. Back to the grind this week. See what this week holds for us again. Hopefully, you'll start some live footy this week. With the Bundesliga returning this weekend, which is a very welcome return. I know that the Premier League have got their meeting. I think it's today to discuss. When we can expect to see some football back in this country. Project Restart, they're calling it now on Sky Sports, and I don't know if that's the official name, but yeah, the meeting for that is today. So let's see what comes of that. There is a rumour going round at the moment. I know it's on Twitter and stuff, but there is quite a few verified journalists on there. But there is a rumour going round at the moment that apparently all Premier League clubs have advised their foreign players who are currently not in the country to get back in the country by, I think it's next week, in preparation for training to restart with a view for matches to start in the middle of June. So, yeah, let's see what happens with that. And yeah, obviously, if there's any news, then I'll keep you posted. So, something a bit different for you today. I'm going to go through 5 of the biggest transfer targets which are due to take place this summer. So, yeah, God knows when the transfer window is going to be this year. I would imagine it's still going to probably run from June to September or July to September, depending on where you are. But yeah, I thought it'd be good to just go through the top 5 players which I think are going to be making big moves or have been linked with big moves, big money moves, and we'll see how you agree on the probability of it. So we just sort the angle out a little bit. There we go. Right, so. Number 1 is Donny Van Der Baek. So he is the box-to-box all-action midfielder, homegrown talent from Ajax. Broke through the academy 3 or 4 years ago now. I know he was in the same generation as Frankie de Jong and Onana. You've got Neres, you've got all sorts over there. So yeah, they all broke through at the same time, and I think Van Der Baek is probably the most underrated player of all of them, to be honest. He's Dutch. I think he's only 21 or 22 years old, and he's a real driving force in that midfield. He can tackle, he can pass, he can break forward. I think that his real skills are just kind of sitting in the middle of that midfield, and like I say, he can do a bit of everything. So he can burst forward when the team are attacking. He can also get his foot in when the team are defending. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where he ends up. I know that obviously De Jong has moved on, De Ligt has moved on as well. He went to Juventus, and obviously Frankie went to Barcelona. But yeah, Van Der Beek, he's been linked with a couple of big moves this summer, most notably to the Premier League. I think that his style really does suit the Premier League. He's not the smallest, but obviously coming through the Ajax academy, you know what kind of midfielder you're going to get from those guys. They're going to be good on the ball. They're going to be technically brilliant. They're going to be very kind of spatial aware, because this whole total football thing that has come from Cruyff and Rinus Michel's there. Anyone who breaks into their first team, that they're going to have them principles instilled into them. So, yeah, he's a very, very promising midfielder. I know that Edwin van der Sar come out at the weekend, and he basically said that, the club, so him, I know that Van der Sar's the chief executive at Ajax, I think it is. Got Overmars, who's the director of football. Those two have been working wonders at Ajax in the last couple of years, to be honest. The way that they produced and nurtured talent and then sold them on for massive money. I think they got £170 million for De Jong and De Ligt. So, the production line is still running strong over in Amsterdam. But yeah, Van der Sar went on and basically said, look, we made commitments to Tagliafico, who's the left back, to Onana, who's the goalkeeper, and we also made a commitment to De Beek that, if they gave us one more season of service, basically, then we would let them go, providing that the fee is right. And he alluded to the fact that there might not be much money around Europe this summer, given the financial crisis that's incoming, not just in football but everywhere really. Like normal people aren't going to have a lot of money because of the recession that's probably going to hit us. And Of course, that's going to have a massive knock-on effect for TV deals. It's going to have an effect for clubs being able to spend money on players. And he basically said, look, you're not going to get 50% off of these players just because, you're skint, basically. He said, you're still going to be paying top whack for these boys because this is a golden generation that's coming through at Ajax. And I think that, with the clubs that he's been linked with Klopp at Liverpool, and he's also been heavily linked with a move to Man United. I think that'd be a really good move for Man United because they're exactly the kind of players that they should be going for. I know that they went for Bruno Fernandes back in when was it? It was in Christmas, wasn't it? So yeah, they signed him from Sporting Lisbon, Bruno Fernandes, and he slotted right in. He was brilliant before, obviously, the enforced lockdown. And I think that obviously with Pogba, with Matic, his aging now, they do need some legs in there because in the Premier League now, energy in that midfield is crucial, and I think Van Der Baek would definitely be an asset for Man United and also for Liverpool. But you need to remember that Liverpool have got Chamberlain back from his long-term injuries. You've got Naby Keita, who hasn't really put in the performances we'd hoped yet, and you've also got Fabinho coming back from injury at Liverpool as well. So I would imagine that if Solskjaer pays the money, then Van Der Baek could very well be at Man United next season. He also fits the the kind of signing that Solskjaer's looking for. He's young. He's basically proven at a high level, in a high division. He was integral in that Champions League run last season with Ajax. He went to the Bernabeu, he went to Turin with Juventus, and Ajax bossed them both games, and he was absolutely fantastic in the middle of midfield. Even in the first leg of the semi-final away to Spurs, he was fantastic as well. He kind of sits in that midfield as a number 6 or the number 8, and he kind of moves the ball around really well. Ajax known for playing that good football, and he's integral to that. So Donny Van Der Baek, he's probably the most likely one to make a move this summer away from Ajax. So let's see how that one goes. So number 2 that I've got written down here is Jadon Sancho, obviously the Dortmund winger. He's some player. He moved on from City for a nominal fee because he turned down their contracts. I think it was 5 years ago now, or 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, only when he was still a kid. He's only 22, 23 now. So, he has gone from strength to strength at Dortmund. That's probably one of the best signings that Dortmund have ever made because they're going to make an absolute killing on him this summer if he chooses to go. I know that the Dortmund sporting director and the general manager there, I think his name is Watzke, Hans Joachim Watzke or something his name is. He has basically been not touting him to the media, but he was saying that, obviously he's English, the Premier League have got money, there are clubs that have inquired about him, and, they're not going to stand in his way if they get the money that they're deserved. And, I think that, going back to the Van Der Baek thing, these clubs aren't just going to let these players go because no one's got any money. These guys are real assets. They've still got time left on their contracts. They're still valuable players for the team. They're not just going to accept the 30 million bid and go, all right then, well, you haven't got much money, so we'll let you go. People like Sancho who are registering double figures in goals and assists every game in the Bundesliga, on that right hand side, he's been absolutely fantastic for Dortmund. For the last few years, you could probably say he's been the best player in the league. I'll watch a lot of Bundesliga games. He is, I wouldn't say he's streaky because he is consistent, but he does go off the boil sometimes. There could be 2 or 3 games where he's not great, but when he's good, he is cavalier goods. He is a fantastic player. He's been linked with a move back to the Premier League. There is talk that Chelsea might go in for him because apparently he was a Chelsea fan growing up, and obviously as soon as Chelsea fans got hold of that, they went crazy, and they were on his social medias basically begging him to choose Chelsea if they were to go. I think we can expect Chelsea to spend quite a bit of money this summer, given that the transfer ban's now been lifted. They've already confirmed the signing of Hakim Ziyech, who's a brilliant little player in the number 10 role at Ajax, so he'll be joining. And who knows if Sancho's joining him as well? But he's been linked with every big club in Europe. PSG, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona have been after him. he can take the pick of whatever club. There is talk that he's probably going to be a record Bundesliga sale. So, you're looking in upwards of 90, 100, 110 million pound. He's going to be big money, but he's at a good age. He's an England international now, playing on that right hand side. And he's not just a tricky little winger. He can pass, he can cut inside, he's very intelligent. And I think that being coached into him from a European club is very telling. Would he have received that sort of footballing intelligence in the UK? Now, that's not to have a dig at English coaches, but there is something to be said for players moving abroad at a young age, because by all accounts, when he was in the UK and when he was in Man City's youth academy, he used to basically beat a player, skip away from him and then put in a cross. Whereas in the Bundesliga, when you watch him play, he plays out on that right-hand side. He receives the ball, he can often cut inside, or he can almost be like a bit of a wide playmaker, where he can still beat a player, he can still put a cross in, but his passing range is fantastic. And if you have a look at like the Opta stats and like all the stats guys on Twitter and stuff, he creates a lot of chances for Harland and like the other attacking players in the final third of Dortmund. So yeah, he's going to be a massive player. I'm almost certain he's going to move on. Man United, Jesus, if they go and get him and Van Der Baek, they are two exceptional signings. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes with him, because I would imagine he's probably going to favour a move back to England. Would he want to go and rejoin his his childhood club in Chelsea? That'd be a fantastic coup for him. You imagine him on the right hand side, Hudson-Odoi on the left, Abraham up front, Loftus-Cheek. That's a very good little generation coming through at Chelsea there. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So the next one I've got here written down is Houssem Aouar. So you're gonna have to apologise. I'm gonna have to apologise for pronouncing these. I'm not. I'm just a lad from just outside London, so I don't have a continental tongue on me. So so it's Houssem Aouar. So he's the playmaker at Lyon. He's a French under-21, and I believe he's a French international as well. Playing at Lyon, obviously the League One season now has finished, and Lyon missed out on European places. So good old Jean-Michel Aulas, who's the president and the chairman and the owner at Lyon, he's going to be recouping some money there, put it that way, this summer. And he also come out this weekend and basically said, look, if the price is right, then we're going to look to sell him on. Aulas made it clear that he hasn't been pushing for a move, but he's been linked with Man United. He's been linked with Man City quite heavily. I know that Guardiola's quite a big fan of him, due to the way he plays. A lot of it is into his feet, one touch and he's away. He's a very intelligent little player. And with David Silva leaving this summer, obviously, he could be tailor-made to just fit in there. I know they've got Foden and a couple of others. They've got Bernardo Silva, who's more of an attacking player. But yeah, with Aouar, who knows what might happen there. So with Lyon desperate for the money, I know that Bayern Munich were linked with him back a couple of months ago as well, and he actually come out and said that he was very proud of the Bayern Munich link. Obviously Bayern have got players like Thiago in there. They've got quite a few playmakers, but so have City. So, obviously if he joins one of these clubs, he's not going to be a guaranteed starter, but it's just strength in depth. And he's very, very highly rated. He's one of the highest rated French midfielders in Ligue 1. So, yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Talk of a 50 million, maybe 60 million euro bid, which is about 55 million quid. So it's easily affordable for a lot of the Premier League clubs, and especially for City. If Pep's going after a midfielder, what he's going to be looking for. A world-class midfielder, Guardiola himself, so he knows how to pick a midfielder out. And obviously I think you can draw your own assumptions from how good Aouar is if Pep's pushing to sign him. So yeah, it's looking likely that he's going to move on, but it's just where he's going to move on to. So right, the next one is Erling Harland. So, everybody knows about Erling Harland now. Wow, like the Norwegian guy, son of Alf Inge Haaland, who used to play for Leeds. he's just set the world alight at Salzburg. First half of this season, joined Salzburg from, I think it was Mulder last season. I can't remember. You're gonna have to excuse my knowledge. Still early in the morning, but yeah, he's been absolutely smashing the goals in for Salzburg in the Champions League. I know he got a hat trick on his group stage debut for Salzburg. The club, owned by Red Bull, they just basically bought players to feed it into him. They could see straight away just what a player he was. They put legs around him. They had, what was the guy's name who joined Liverpool? Minamino. They had him, but they had him playing into him. They had, I think it was a Korean lad on the right hand side who's also got legs who was playing around him, and he was just absolutely smashing the goals in. And then obviously with a relatively low transfer release clause, Dortmund swooped in. A lot of clubs, given how good Haaland was in the Champions League group stages, that really opened the shop window for him, and it was Dortmund who managed to get him. There were loads and loads of journalists and basically like sources who were linking him with RB Leipzig, giving the Red Bull link there. People thought it was a nailed-on deal with Nagelsmann, going to watch him loads of times and stuff like that. But actually, it was Dortmund who managed to get him in the end, and he has just gone from strength to strength. He scored on his debut. I think he scored a hat-trick on his debut, didn't he, actually? And he's just scored and scored and scored. And, obviously, there is now talk that he might even move on this summer from Dortmund. He's only played, 10, 12 games for Dortmund, if that. Scored a bucket load of goals, and now he's being linked with the Premier League yet again. He's also been linked with, a couple of other clubs like PSG and Barcelona. I know that Barcelona are potentially looking at him to replace Luis Suarez, which would be an amazing one. But he's got a buyout clause. I think his buyout clause isn't massive either. I think it's about 60 million euros. But would he want to go this early into his Dortmund career? His attitude and his personality is very, very driven. Apparently, he absolutely hates losing games, which is fair enough. Most players hate losing games, but apparently even in training at five-a-sides and stuff like that, if he loses, he doesn't talk to anyone for the rest of the day, storms off in a huff and stuff like that. So he's got a real elite mentality there, and he's going to go right to the very top, because not only is he quick, he can obviously shoot, he can hold the ball up, but he's deceptively very good technically. You have a look at some of the goals he scores, most of them are first time, but they're place shots. He's got good movement, he moves off the ball, he creates space for himself, because a lot of them, you look at the goals he scores and you think that like a lot of them are tap-ins and stuff, but you have to create that space for you, especially being so tall and so physical. These defenders in the Bundesliga, they're no mugs, and they're going to be looking at him. They're going to be looking at his movement and stuff, and for him to continue getting all of these goals is very, very impressive, and it's a real sign of just what a good player he is. He's obviously been linked with Man United as well. I know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he was very, very keen on getting him from Salzburg back in January, back in the winter transfer window, but he rejected Solskjaer's advances back then to go to Dortmund. I think it was a fantastic move for him, because the Bundesliga, it's a great league. Dortmund, one of the biggest clubs in that league, and they've also got the players that can feed him them goals. You've got people like Sancho there, like I was saying earlier on, with those players that can play just in behind him and create these chances for him. Dortmund's probably going to finish top three. Well, you'd hope they'd finish top three. And obviously, if he goes and wins a Bundesliga with Dortmund, it just further, enhances his credentials. So he's a very, very talented player. And again, with that minimum buyout release clause in his contract, he could be going as early as this summer. So yeah, let's see what happens there. I know that Real Madrid are looking for a Benzema replacement, with Jovic not quite cutting the mustard there. I know he's injured for 3 more months, which has been a disaster signing for Real Madrid, to be honest. But yeah, let's just see what happens with that one with Harland. I think that regardless of whatever happens, if he stays another year at Dortmund, which I don't think would be the worst idea, to be honest, I think he's a fantastic striker. Even if he gets 15, 20 goals next season and slows down a little bit, because he's averaging 2 goals a game at the moment or so. It's an absolute joke. There's going to be Europe's top clubs queuing up for him. So yeah, let's see what happens with that one. And finally, you got old Kylian Mbappe. He seems to be linked with every big club, every single transfer window, given he is a generational talent. I talk about Harland being a top striker, but my God, Kylian Mbappe, I don't think I've ever seen a player as exciting as him in my lifetime, to be honest. Obviously apart from Messi and Ronaldo, I think that he's the next true global superstar. And, with his contract starting to run down at PSG now, I think he's only got 2 months. 2 months. God, if he had 2 months, everyone would be after him. I think he's only got 2 years left on his contract. Obviously he's earning big money already, given his age at PSG, and given what he's won. He's won multiple league titles. He's a World Cup winner as well, which is crazy considering he's 19, 20, something like that. So yeah, he's been heavily linked with Real Madrid. Obviously with the Zidane factor there. I know Zidane in multiple press conferences over in Madrid at the Bernabeu has basically said to him, look, we want him, without actually saying we want him. He's like, he's a good player. Obviously Real Madrid signed to best players and stuff like that. But yeah, that is going to be some transfer saga. Give it 6 months. He's in the last 18 months of his contract, and then give it next year. He's got a year left, and then after that he's free to talk to clubs 6 months after that. So my God, I know that PSG are pushing hard to basically offer him whatever he wants to try and get him to lock down his long-term future. But, we're just going to have to see what happens there, because, he could basically walk into any club in the world and demand whatever he wants. I know that Barcelona have, eyed him up, but I think they're going for Neymar now. Barcelona, by all accounts, they want Barcelona back over Mbappe, which is a strange one. If you were to choose either Neymar or Mbappe for your club right now, I think that 90% of people would probably choose Mbappe, given his age, given his talent, and given his reputation in the game. I think that you look at Neymar's antics off the pitch, and his general personality. There's no doubting that he is and he has been an absolutely world class player, Neymar. But I just wonder whether that move to PSG halted his career as being a real legend of the game, because at Barcelona he was winning trebles, he was playing alongside Messi, and he was getting a minimum of 20 goals a season, playing unbelievable football. He was in Enrique's MSN up front and stuff. But obviously he went to PSG to win the Ballon d'Or, and you can argue that Mbappe now has a better chance of winning the Ballon d'Or than Neymar. So it really has gone a little bit belly up for Neymar, really. But yeah, he's been linked with all so many different clubs, and the ball's in Mbappe's court, really, because if he keeps turning down these contract offers, more and more time gets taken off his contract, and as a result of that, the value decreases as well. Obviously with Nasser Al Khelaifi at PSG, he's the guy who fronts up the Qatar investment fund there. They've got unlimited money, basically. They can offer him whatever he wants, but you can't just throw £1 million a week at Mbappe, because he's a very ambitious lad, and you could argue, is he looking at this and is he thinking, I quite fancy being the main man at Real Madrid? You look at Ronaldo, they've not got that true out-and-out superstar there at the moment who can bang in 30, 40, 50, 60 goals a season like Ronaldo used to do. And, can Mbappe take Ronaldo's crown and be the new king of the Bernabeu? I personally think he might go for it. I think that the Premier League isn't necessarily the best move for him. I think he's tailor-made for La Liga and Real Madrid. With Zidane being there, you got that French connection, and it just, his face fits at Real Madrid. I don't know how to explain it properly, really, but I just see him at Real Madrid being the next superstar and taking that mantle of the best player in the world and winning Ballon d'Ors. With Messi slowing down now, he could really push Real Madrid into a new generation of winning multiple league titles and cups and Champions Leagues and God knows what. So yeah, we'll see how that one pans out. I don't think it will happen this summer, because if PSG do agree to sell Neymar, which it looks like they're probably going to, for about 200 million back to Barcelona, they sure as hell aren't going to let Mbappe go as well. So, it's probably going to be one for next summer, the Mbappe to Real Madrid deal or Mbappe to anywhere else deal. But yeah, that's going to be a biggie when that one happens. That could be a historical moment in football when he moves on. So yeah, they're the five that I've decided to go through today. That's Van Der Baek, Mbappe, Sancho, Aouar and Harland. If there's any others that you want me to talk through, maybe some that are more kind of like local to the Premier League or Spain or Italy or even the Championship. Whatever you want me to talk about, just give me a shout. Let me know in the comments. Now, if you're enjoying the content, drop a like on the videos and subscribe. I'm really happy with how the videos are doing at the moment. So thanks a lot for your support, guys. It's very much it's very much appreciated. I want to try and build a real football community on this channel where we can all talk about however obscure football you want to go. You want to talk fourth division in Italy, that's fine. You want to talk, Tenerife in Spain, fine, let's do it. Stay safe. There's going to be a couple of videos this week. I'm going to release a video when the Premier League have basically confirmed their project restart date. I have to get that on a t-shirt or something. And let's see how it goes. So I hope you have a good week. Hope you enjoy the video. Keep washing your hands. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, guys.